Alfred of Wessex seeks to unite the Isles under one banner.
Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Thrones of Britannia. Quick recap of last episode. We had the problem that our clergymen demanded that we cease hostilities and end all wars. And that came right when we had our successful invasion of the Welsh kingdoms. Now obviously it's not the Welsh kingdom's own land, it's the land of Mercia, so we were quite well received by the people here, and we took two regional capitals. However, as it would be, right at the end turn, Alfred gets a message from the Welsh kings that they want peace. They have been taken aback by our lightning campaign and the two very successful sieges, and they want a peace, which we agree to because of the pressure of the clergy. Furthermore, we had two important events happening, one of which is our decree to increase the loyalty of our people, and the allegiance of them has been successful. We have successfully used the arts to propagate the notion of the Anglo-Saxon kingdom. The second event is due to the fact that we appeased the clergy by signing this peace agreement, and so we get piety and prosperity. But all is not well in the land, as one of my Welsh vassals goes ahead and breaks its allegiance and declares war on me, aiming to conquer my loyal Welsh vassals. I do dispatch my armies, but the road leading to these lands is covered by marshy lands, and so I am unable to get there in time with a strong enough contingent to actually stop them. However, they are stopped by my loyal vassals in the south of England, Devon, as we know, and they go up and they take the land for themselves. Now, this could be seen as a problem, as they're taking land that's not really rightfully theirs. However, I intend to use them as a distraction against the Welsh kingdoms. Right, and now for some actual bloody gameplay. I did quite a few turns actually where nothing really happened, but now finally we've got something, and we've got some battles prepared for us. As we could see during my recap of what happened during that, we had some really good times. Maybe it wasn't super clear, but those different prosperity and propaganda helped a lot, and also I've been upgrading my towns and stuff, so we are doing quite well on that sense. And as I went over, let's go over here, Devon was able to invade before me and take all of this vassal's land. I did send over one of my armies, but it did not come in time. After that, I thought, looking at the situation, that the best plan was actually to go against Guthrum and the East Angles. They have a large amount of territory that's quickly open for a quick lightning conquest campaign against them. I would quickly be able to take London, as it's more or less unprotected, and we could go north and take a lot of their lands in quick lightning campaigns, as Guthrum and his armies are actually going north against the Northumbrians. And at this point, kind of, they're all kind of back and forth fighting each other with the Northumbrians, the Welsh, and the East Angles. But just as my armies were setting up along the border here, with three armies, I guess I should have paid more attention to the state of my own realm, as two of my vassals then go ahead and declare war on me. So I went in with into the war against this vassal to aid them, or aid this one, Gwent, from trying to be overtaken by these, just to have Gwent a few turns later then actually declare open rebellion against me. And not only them, but the Cornish, or Cornwall as well, declared war on me. The Serpent strikes. And with most of Devon's armies actually up here in Wales, the Cornwall army was actually able to invade and take 2 of these smaller towns before they came right at my border, and they are raiding, which is why I have so low food. 22 is from raiding, and then also a lot is for different units and stuff. So they're raiding just at my border. Just in time, however, I was able to move the Borg Slayers up, and they are now protecting the only crossing into my land, like into my land proper. They're like just over the border, they're raiding. So the only crossing is these bridges over here, or if you go down, then you can pass also through this town, but those are the only 2 crossings, and they're not gonna go through the town, so they're most likely gonna attack the Borg Slayers at the bridge, so we've got a battle there. And also at the same time, as I said, all my armies were over here, and I just as quickly as possible move them into range of the enemy. Unfortunately, I'm laying siege during winter, so we'll see. And also there's a 20 stack here, so there's a possibility of these guys attacking me as we're setting up here. Also, there was one thing that I didn't mention, because I mean it went over really quickly, but there was a Viking invasion at Hastings. They took Hastings and they took this until the army under the command of Enred, which is one of my vassals, actually moved in to stomp them. And also at this point in the dynastic lineage, Alfred's oldest daughter, which is also his oldest child, Ethelfled, is actually married off to Athelfrith, Hellforge Hands. I guess that's the army he commands. So that is the one of my other vassals, which is these guys out here, Kent. I should also note that I did not notice, and I didn't get a message, but the Alfred's sister, which we had the demanding wife that we had married off to the Odda's son, which Odda is the leader of Devon, or the Duke, or I'm not entirely sure what we call him. Just like in the series, what's it called? I mentioned it in the first episode. I can't recall it right now. But Odda's son, Odda's son is a real bloody bitch in that series, and he's killed by his father. Spoiler alert. Should probably said spoiler alert before I said the spoiler. Anyways, he was 26, so we married him off with a 46-year-old sister of Alfred. She has, however, died. I guess she was not only demanding on him, but she was demanding on herself, and so she died. Which, probably just as well for these guys, but that means, of course, you get quite a high bonus in relationship points due to royal marriages, which I think you get like 100 points. Diplomatic marriage, it has, however, shrunk at this point to only 18 points, just because I guess it didn't work that well when she died. However, with Kent, we can see that it actually gave us 100 points. It gives you a lot. So we really ensure the loyalty of these guys. Could be a bit of a problem in the future, because Sussex they repeatedly asked for her hand. They condemned great power, passing with treaties with Kent. Military action against... So they're not too happy, and due to that is, well, partly, as you can see here, they don't actually like great power, because their leader is aggressive, as he's trained, and also probably because he actually asked for the hand of Alfred's oldest daughter. He asked for it twice, and even offered gold. The interesting thing was the first time he offered, I think, 900 or 600 gold, and the second time he lowered it to 300. So I'm not entirely sure how he thought that was going to work by decreasing his offer. But we possibly have to look out for these guys, because they're not too happy with me. And I know someone said you should just go ahead and take over your vassals. But the vassals are very important. Well, not very important, but they're actually very good to deal with the Viking invasions. As we saw the Viking invasion that actually struck land and went to Winchester, that one could have gone unhindered for a very long time if I hadn't done as I did. So we had a lot of problem there with these vassals on the coast and next to the capital. I do have these support armies I can call on. However, with the situation right now, we can't actually make any moves. So my plan is to end turn, and most likely we're gonna see the general or the king of Cornwall go ahead and attack us. The spears of Britain. The Britons are attacking, and they will attack the Anglo-Saxons, and we will fight them at this bridge. They outnumber us slightly, as they have 3 extra units, but their advantage will obviously be negated by the fact that we hold a bridge. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and end the turn, and we'll see what happens. Right, and just as I thought, they go ahead and strike our army. So this is the only thing we really have in between the enemy and Glastonbury, which I imagine this town is, which is a really important town, because a lot of these, or this is a really important province, because I have a silver mine somewhere around here that makes me almost 1,000 gold per turn, and there's a lot of other buildings, so this is a really rich province. So I really don't want to lose anything of this. So in that sense, it's a really important battle. And the Borg Slayers are about to hopefully become the Britain Slayers. If we take a look at this, we can see the battle. And as far as I know, there's actually no river crossings. Like in other Total Wars, there's usually a bridge and then there's a river crossing. In Napoleon, I mean, the bridges are impossible in both Napoleon and Empire. The bridges are more or less impossible to cross because they're so thin. In this is completely opposite. There's no river crossing as far as I am aware. So all the battle will be taking place at this bridge. The important thing is not only that we smite this army, but we entirely crush it, hopefully kill off the leader, and just completely rout it. Then the lands will lay open and we will be able to quickly take Cornwall for ourselves. It will be a quite a problem region, so we'll have to keep my General Broderick, or no, it's not Broderick, it's Alfred. I have a governor that's called Broderick, and I notice him because at this point he's really old, so he's soon to die, and also he has he amassed a lot of these what's it called, agricultural estates and religious estates. So that when that falls to the king, I think we will have a landfall both in gold and in food, so that will be good. With that said, let's go ahead and fight this battle at the bridge. So as far as I've studied the river, there's no way to cross except the bridge, and I think we're gonna go with a very simple tactic of tiring them out and just sending one unit to hold the bridge one at a time. The AI will probably just mass everything on them and they will tire out, and as one unit starts to become tired or ready to rout, we'll just switch it up and send forward another one. And once they're really tired, we'll basically reorganize the army into half circle, let the enemy come in, and then surround them and hopefully crush them. Any retreating troops will be chased down with the cavalry, and to aid the men fighting there on the bridge, I have my archers on either side, hopefully being able to shoot in on the sides, bypassing the shields, getting good hits on the flanks. I also have these spear throwers ready to move them forward. Has to be a little bit, we have to be a little bit careful because the enemy does have a lot of skirmish troops, so we'll have to watch out for that. Another thing which I didn't mention, which I probably should have, is that I'm actually gone ahead and upgraded my levy troops at this point due to technology. I don't know if you can tell, but I think the part of the upgrade basically gives the guys pants and some other different stuff. So the levy troops have been upgraded. So it goes for, I believe, the spearmen, but it also, I think, goes for the swordmen, or if it was the axemen that have been upgraded. With that said, let's go ahead and start the battle, shall we? Since the enemy has a lot of archers, we move into our shield walls to protect ourselves against the enemy and make sure that we take as few casualties as possible from their archers. They do have quite a big contingent of cavalry as well, which wild pig running about. Quite a few of them actually. Let's see what they send forwards first. So I mean, you can compare a little bit our levies to the Cornish levies, that they don't have pants, and I think that's part of my upgrade rather than the fact that the Britons don't carry any pants. So I think that's part of my upgrade. Plus also my guys have hats. These guys don't. So that's the King Alfred being lavish with his troops, giving them hats. And I think I included the part where we had an event where Alfred buys a load of spearheads. So I think this could be certainly some of those improved spearheads compared with, I don't know what the enemy actually has, but it probably looks the same. Theirs actually looks a little bit better because those have those like stoppers or whatever you want to call them, or blockers. So they're sending up the levy axemen first. They're firing a bit, the Welsh archers. I mean, at some point I do have to crush the Welsh before they get the longbowmen, because I think those could be quite difficult. Oh, they're herding the wild boar into our ranks. That could probably be actually quite useful in an actual battle, just to break up our formation at the bridge, having wild boar come in and start to gore some of my weaker troops there in the beginning. I'm not entirely sure if it's going to matter a lot, the fact that the enemy actually has the high ground here. Kinda. Oh, this guy fell off. Bastards, they're finding a way to flank us. Oh, they actually got through with the cavalry. That's not good. Cavalry! Stop them!
Horsemen! Drive the horses!
It would be nice if the archers actually just stood in their position and fired, rather than try to chase the bastards. Let's check on the first unit. Okay, the enemy is overwhelming the front line, so we have to we'll have to send forwards more of our spearmen.
Bowman!
Okay, fire at will.
On the double!
I'm gonna send forwards the spear throwers to throw in the flanks. Gonna send the cavalry off. Some of the cavalry did manage to get through and is slaying my bloody archers. There's another bloody unit. Oh, these guys throw spears before they charge.
Awaiting order.
I think this could be rather... these guys getting shot down by the enemy archers. Devastating. We'll pull them back. Make sure to send those bastard cavalry off. My archers doing their work. And the enemy is being sent off. Cavalry will retreat out of range of the enemy. I have only one bowman left. And he will focus in on the king. We're holding the line so far, but I'm not entirely sure how well my spearmen are doing. Let's see, which one was... This was the one I put in the front. They haven't actually lost that many men yet. And we're being able to bottleneck the enemy. And I mean, there's the enemy king, which definitely doesn't have a great time. This unit is supposed to be in spear wall, but it's being shot down so much by the archers that they can't even really form the bloody shield wall. There's so many spears and stuff. I like how he put the flag on his back, like he scrolled back the weapon like some sort of mounted blade stuff. Okay, the king moved back. Focus in on some other troops then. We're actually on the scout horsemen. You can. You sure can. Horsemen. What we'll do is we'll have the horsemen here. The horsemen aren't that strong, I've noticed. You know what? You can leave already. We'll hold them for as long as possible before we pull them back. And what I'm thinking is we'll pull the spearmen back to the left side, and we'll have this side lined up on the right, ready to charge in on the enemy, opening up this side. Then the cavalry can come in, sweep in and attack, and also the spearmen can do another charge again. So it's a slow fight here, slow and brutal fight. Oh, that guy just got a spear through the neck. But the enemy is being locked in place. There's a lot of them. Here comes the king again. Fire arrows on him. Ooh, a nice volley. I think he's just... yeah, he's down here. Would be an easy target now. He's not even... his shield is not even facing the right way. My spearmen are holding on, so it's not too bad just yet. The most forward unit hasn't lost that many men. The thing is, how many men has the enemy lost? It's hard to tell. They are tired though. And the king's unit has lost a lot of men. He's down to 19 bodyguard. He's just rallied his men. I don't want to push my men back just yet, but we might want to push the important troops. Might be good to push the important units off to prepare our attack. They still fire some arrows at us. Right, you can go and join with this one. We're not going to need you. You're just going to be a target if the enemy cavalry gets through. I'm gonna... The fjord men? The men of the fjords? We'll move them. We'll keep this one, the Earl's things. We'll keep them close to the general, and the general will hold the center. Okay, we're starting to lose quite a lot of men here. And most of the enemy troops are tired. The question is if we can fall back in order. I'm thinking the king will hold the front with his most elite troop. We'll keep the spearman that hasn't been engaged over there. We'll give a call to rally, and then we'll push all the spearmen in over here. And we'll have these guys ready to sweep in. I guess we'll move the cavalry in first. Or if we move them in after. We'll get a charge bonus, but the melee skill will be reduced. So I'm not entirely sure if it's even worth it. So they said the foe flees the field, but I can't see it as of yet. King is taking quite a bit of fire. It's time to pull back. You will have to drop your spear wall. Let's make sure that no one routs during this. Pull back. Now the cavalry will charge in. Going in on tired and weak troops here in the flank. It's just a quick charge, and then they'll retreat. The enemy is streaming forwards. They're meeting the king and his men, and it's now time to do our plan. We're gonna smash these bastards. And I think at this point there's no point in holding on to formation, so we're gonna drop that. These guys, since they are tired and they're a little bit concerned, they will stay in their shield walls. Now it's gonna be all down to these men over here, that they are able to break the enemy on this side and cause enough problem here. So it looks as though I can get my cavalry through once more here. And we can see some trouble brewing with the enemy troops. Charge this one. And we possibly can get through. This one flees. This one flees as well. We'll go for the Welsh archer unit there. And then my men here in the flank will continue in. I want to block this part off right here. We want to block the enemy in and slay them. Cavalry.
The enemy general is dead!
Ooh, the enemy general has died.
Annihilate them!
And at this point, it's kind of a rout in among the Britons. some of his more elite troops are holding. The general's bodyguard is holding.
The battle is turning in our favor.
But you can see a large amount of troops are starting to rout.
Axemen! Tanks! Battle awaits us.
We have some of our troops here retreating. But that's going to change once we get most of the enemies done for.
Drive the horses!
Drive the horses. Get over the bridge.
Enemies beware! Charge!
And slay our foes. The archers don't stand a chance against the cavalry. My men have successfully
Our
blocked
men have turned tail and run!
the bridge.
Swordsman! Attack!
The last unit to actually stand and fight is the spear guard. But now even the spear guard breaks. And they're all gone.
Feared! Wipe them out!
Now we'll show these bastards what it means to be a warrior. Cavalry.
Drive the horses! Cavalry! Hit hard! Hit them
Charge
hard.
the enemy down. And make sure they do not leave. And over here it's a slaughter of his heavy guard units as they try to escape. It's hard to see though. Everyone jumping about.
To battle! Wipe them out!
One unit out of the king's bodyguard managed to get away. But I'm hoping to destroy the army to the point where it's nothing left.
Horseman! Kick your steeds!
Why are you not chasing these guys down?
Ride to victory!
I order you to chase them down. My men are now charging over the bridge to get the last bits of enemy troops. I'm surprised how well, I'm really surprised how well my spearmen held at the front line here. So spearmen aren't really as bad as one might think. And the enemy took so many casualties all over the place. So it's really important to keep an eye on with melee troops how tired they are and stuff. It's not so important in the games I normally play, like Empire, because normally you don't really go into to melee fights. And
Don't hold back!
let's see, it doesn't affect the reloading skill as much as it should do, or accuracy.
The advantage is ours!
It's probably going to be hard to try and find the king among all of this. Oh, the crows are already here. There's so many dead bodies. Most of which I hope is the enemy, since I intend to use this army and hopefully continue. Otherwise, I'm fearing that Devon, which has a full stack, is just going to gobble up all of Cornwall, which is going to make Devon a little bit too strong, I think. To the point where they're, oh, that's a burnt out guy. To the point where they can actually kind of rival my power, and I would have to destroy Offa.
Courage, lads!
But there we have it, there's basically no troops left, so we can go ahead and end the battle. Right, so unfortunately we weren't able to completely destroy their army, but it only leaves 2 units left alive. 1 Welsh archer with 36 men and 18 horsemen. In total, only 95 of the enemy's 2,000 man army managed to survive and get off the field. 353 are captured, which we will put into our ranks. And we only lose 700 men. It's still about half the force. But we were outnumbered after all, and they did have quite a bit of good troops compared to us. Let's see, how much? 14% in replenishment, that's pretty darn good. As it is during the enemy turn, we will go ahead and run through this, and there might be a second battle as the enemy might try to relieve the siege up there at the Gwent place. Right, killed in battle. Allegiance, Cornwall, Spears of Britain. The Borg Slayers managed to kill them off in Somerset. Great battle in Somerset. It only counts as a... Oh, we have some attrition. I like how this guy... They put him into a snowman. Pretty unnecessary, I think. Since, well, I guess General Winter came and stuffed him in that snow. Only, I don't know if you had time to see that, but it was only 57 men that were taken. 25% income. The thing is, this is probably the last agricultural state the king has. So they're really asking much. I'm kind of baffled a little bit by them outright asking for so many estates. But I mean, for some of these guys, there are actually quite good piety and prosperity. I think this is the third time I have piety and prosperity, so I'm not sure exactly what's up with this. Public order, all regions, construction for monetary build. This is really good. I'm not entirely sure who this guy is. Probably one of my newer governors. Great battle, and then the enemy king's head, and then the besieging force. I managed to build and surround that place. Regional traditions have been developed. A landowner knows his own patch better than his neighbor, and they know theirs better than he. Gathering knowledge of all local agricultural customs will improve our army's ability to live off the land while on campaign. Which is an interesting statement, so you might not think much of it. But if you actually sort of read in between the lines, gathering knowledge of all local agricultural customs will improve our army's abilities to live off the land while on campaign. So clearly we're not spreading the knowledge as in, okay, so this guy, he does this to when he farms apple. Let's see if, you know, he has a great plan on how he farms those apples there. Let's spread that to the other apple farmers of the land. Or this guy sows wheat this way, which is really good, that turns out really well for him. Let's spread that knowledge around. No, it's we gather this knowledge to improve our army's abilities to live off the land. Meaning, we're basically going around telling the peasants, or looking where they're storing their food. So when our armies go to enemy areas, they can sort of, oh, you know what, the peasants, you hide food here, here, and here. So there's where we can steal. So I think, yeah, and it gives 3 supplies to your own allied armies, which is it's an interesting way of like taking knowledge and utilizing it in such a way. The army is still here. Thing is, I'm not actually going to chase them down. What we're going to do is we're going to try to rush and gain as much territory as possible. So we're going to try and rush and get before Devon. So we'll leave this army. Hopefully, Oda.
Get marching, men!
You know what? That's what I'll do. I'll still get replenishment because this is allied territory. We'll go into diplomatic. And we'll tell Oda to go after this army. He'll be distracted going that way. We can continue going through. We're gonna bypass this one because this is actually part of Oda's domain, and there's no point in having just this one territory out of his. But we will continue through. I'm wondering if it's best to go for this one first, or if it's best to go for the capital first. and take the capital, because I'm gonna have to siege this, and while that is happening, Odda might swing around and take some of these other places, which would be annoying that I wouldn't complete the province. With that said, we also have the siege here, where the enemy clearly does not go to relieve the siege. The king just sits outside.
No. Attack the foe.
He might very well reinforce them. Yes, he will reinforce them. So the enemy has almost 4,000 men, while we have about 4,000 men as well. They have like a little bit more men, like 400 or 500 men more. The idea would be then to check either to rush for the center of town, which could be difficult. So I guess the plan is to kind of try to place my army somewhere in the middle, locate where the reinforcement army is, destroy them on the field. You know what, the best thing would actually be if I could quickly capture the gate they are going for, or in that area, or break it down. They'll come at it like, and then it'll be like a siege in a siege. So we'll have sieged one part, holding that. The enemy, seeing as though that's the closest way to get into the castle, go and try to attack it, and could be an idea. However, since I've already done so much in this episode, I think we're gonna go ahead and end the video right here. We're just gonna do a little bit of research. So I've been able to unlock some civic research. So we got the regional traditions. We got mills. I've also been able to get arenas. I can get messengers, reinforcement range for all characters, pretty good. Leadership, we've got the hubbub, which is, I don't know what that is, but it's some sort of justice thing. Irrigation, this could actually be really good to get public order, because we have some areas which are quite unhappy. We got taverns, and we haven't got community yet. But the one I did get was trained fighters. That one has replaced the Fjord Axemen, replaces them with no, okay, so it replaces the old ones were the Carol Axemen. Now we have Fjord Axemen, and we can upgrade them a few times more. So you get an idea there. We can also get this one, Defensive Masters. It will give me mailed, so I guess they'll be a lot stronger troops. It'll replace, I don't even think I have Sax Warriors, and replace Long Axemen. I have like one Long Axeman. I just noticed this guy standing around screaming at a beer, at the bread. A weird fellow. But with that said, I think we're gonna go ahead and end it right here. So hopefully you enjoyed this episode, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye!